Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome back to another episode of Soulja Talk The Podcast. I'm your host, Staff Sergeant McPherson, and on this show we discuss military topics with current and prior service members. Today I have a special guest with me. I have Sergeant First Class Davis. How you doing, Sergeant?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So, Sergeant, I brought you on the show kind of introduce yourself to the people, let them know just a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, of course, as you stated in the beginning, I'm Sergeant Davis. But more or less on the less formal side, my name's Jermaine. 31 years old, and I'm from good old Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of the now Fort Liberty. Joined the Army 2011, so creeping up on year 12. And, we trying to make the best out of it as we continue to progress through life.
Okay, sorry. So you say you from Fayetteville, North Carolina?
That I am.
Okay, so was you actually born and raised in Fayetteville?
Absolutely. Born and raised.
So most of your family members are here?
Oh, listen, I can't get away from them. I try to make a habit out of going to visit some of them every Friday. So once we get off, we get released, unless we have a 4-day or something like that. Once I get released, at least once a week, I'll go see some of my relatives and kind of sit around. You know, we talk about life in general. Most of them ask me about the Army. Sometimes I steer away from that because, though this is my career, that's not my personality, So I want them to know Jermaine the person, not Sergeant Davis the soldier all the time.
I got you. So what about like high school and stuff? Like you go to high school here in Fayetteville?
Absolutely. Well, realistically, I guess you consider it Fayetteville surrounding area type deal. Went to high school in a city called Hope Mills. That's about 20 minutes from the main Fayetteville area. But Southview, home of the Fighting Tigers out there, that was my alma mater.
Okay, so did you play any sports, anything like?
Yeah. For me, I was into track and football. Those are the two main sports that I played.
What position was you in football?
Football, I started off playing cornerback. Then I transitioned to wide receiver. We weren't really a pass-heavy school, so the last position I ended up playing was decided to go play running back. I
got you. So, was you good? Like, what sport was like you good in?
Definitely track. Track was something that I started. I started running track when I was probably about 10 years old. So that was something that was bred in me early, a natural born runner. So it just came easy to me. I had some older siblings and relatives that ran, so just trying to keep up with them as I was younger just became something that I fell in love with.
I got you. So, as far as the military, like, what was the influence around you that kind of led you to joining the Army?
Realistically for me, that's a question that's been posed to me. And typically people ask me if I come from a military family. And realistically, no. I'm one of the first people in my family to kind of carry that torch and join the military. I think for me, growing up in the area of Fort Bragg or Fort Liberty, I think I experienced a lot and saw a lot. I'll never forget being in elementary school when I saw 9/11 happen and seeing some of my peers and older friends and cousins, talk about it, and seeing guys from the neighborhood go into the military and kind of come back and either make their lives better or you see that it changed them forever, regardless of good or bad. So taking a step back and looking at it, I kind of decided early on that it was something that I wanted to do.
I got you. So it was just you found that for yourself that you wanted to join. It wasn't nobody around you like that you was looking up to make you say that I want to be a soldier.
No, not at all. For me, I used to joke around in my first unit, and me being very competitive, I would always say, hey man, I'm ESPN, I'm the flagship network of this, right? Like I like to go my own way. I don't really care for people showing me a way or the way, I should say. You could show me a way. I don't want to be shown the way. I want to kind of, lead my own path and lay my own legacy.
I got you. So leading up to, when actually did you join the Army?
So for me, I won't say that I had a troubled youth per se. I think it wasn't until my later years that I would, kind of make some rough decisions as a young man. So I had every intention of joining fresh after my senior year. So some unfortunate events and poor decisions on my part. I didn't join until roughly about 10 days before I turned 20. So I was probably out of school about a year and some change prior to actually joining the military. So I think my official basic active service date was November 8th, and then my birthday is the 22nd. So I celebrated my 20th birthday in basic training.
I got you. So when you actually did join, like what was your initial choice of MOS?
At the time, there wasn't a lot available. So originally, I spoke to a recruiter who just said, "I see your willingness and your desire to join the military," and it wasn't a matter of like trying to get away from home. It was just something that I had a lot of resolve in. So he presented to me becoming a combat engineer. I think they showed me 42 Alpha, all MOSs that I have a lot of respect for, having worked with several of them. But being a medic was presented to me. And when I kind of looked at the scope of practice of what a medic does, I made my decision without hesitation that I would become a medic.
I got you. So you were 68 Whiskey, right?
Yes, sir. That'd be me.
Which is a combat medic.
Yep.
So can you explain to the people a little bit what is a 68 Whiskey?
So, on the sarcastic side of things, I would say, my only job is to talk trash and save lives, right? But on the realistic side of things, you can end up in a plethora of environments. You can work in a hospital. You can be on a line unit attached to some combat arms MOSs. You can go get additional skill identifiers and become a flight paramedic. I've had several peers do it. I've gone to a paramedic course myself. There's a lot of things that you can do, but I think the thing that I found the most pleasurable out of it is the ability to interact with an array of individuals.
I got you. So far as being a 68 Whiskey, like, is it any like certifications or anything that you can get, like, and like that I guess separate you from your peers in the civilian world?
I think that maybe not necessarily separate us from our peers. I do believe that the pace that we have to learn that separates us from our peers. Your typical EMT class, and that's initially what you come in as, right? Once you get to AIT, the first half of your AIT, which is roughly about 4 months, that first 2 months is you going to the EMT course. Most EMT courses are going to run you 9 months to a year. We have an expectation that 68 Whiskeys learn the EMT side of their course within about 2 months. Once you've completed that portion, you move on to the field training, which is where you learn combat medicine. So I think that our ability to learn and retain information in a smaller span of time is what makes us unique, or maybe sets us aside from our civilian counterparts.
I got you. And I know the EMT class, is that similar to like a paramedics course or something?
Very, very similar. Think of your EMT, your paramedics, or even your advanced EMTs as degrees, right? So you have your associate's degree, your bachelor's, and your master's, and so on and so forth. All medics are going to come in the Army upon graduation and obtain their EMT-B certificate, which means that you're EMT basic level. So you'll have all of the skills required to do basic life-saving techniques and measures.
I got you. I know I interviewed other 68 Whiskeys, and far as the CLS class and stuff like that. Have you ever been in a combat environment where you had to like I guess implement some things that you learned as a combat medic?
Absolutely. I know some people shy away from talking about it. For me, I shy away from no conversation typically, but absolutely. And I think that I owe a debt of gratitude to some of the NCOs that I work with. I don't think I've ever been in a medical situation that I don't feel like I was prepared for. So definitely have had to use some of the skill set that I was trained to use, and will forever be grateful to those that trained me.
So as a 68 Whiskey, like, just name some of the things that you guys have to train to do in a combat environment. So like I guess, you know, like the bleeding, the clearing the airway,
Gotcha.
like trying to figure out if the soldier is responsive.
Gotcha.
Or like just off the top of your head, some of the things that you might have to do in a combat environment.
Got you. So first and foremost, you know, the best treatment is no treatment, right? So we try to take all the preventive measures that we can. You try to keep yourself and those around you safe. After that, in the unfortunate event that someone does end up injured, you're gonna kind of go through our medical algorithms and you're gonna look at the priorities of life, so to speak, right? So we're gonna look at how much a person is bleeding, are they breathing, do they have circulation, things like that. And it all comes down to some simple acronyms out there that we've developed over the course of our careers, and just through medical knowledge in general. So, again, it could be your ABCs. Some people may be familiar with that when it comes to doing like a CPR class. You have HABC, you have March. There's a million algorithms out there. People can Google them, look them up. But all the measures taken are to kind of help sustain life. At the highest level possible. So definitely following kind of what you know, and what you taught, and trusting it and believing in it, I think will make you a proficient medic.
I got you. And then it also says that right here, it says that you guys have like additional skills identifiers.
Mm-hmm.
Says you guys also gonna be like a flight paramedic,
Yep.
special operations, allergy and immunology specialist,
Mm-hmm.
and a nationally registered paramedic.
Yeah. Indeed. Definitely done your research. So yeah, like most MOSs, there's a lot of them out there that have additional skill identifiers. Once upon a time, some of the skill identifiers would allow you to be a LPN or a nurse. And then those started to branch out, becoming their own MOSs. So for us, we still have the ability to become flight paramedics. You still have the ability to do several jobs throughout the medical field in general. At one point, you do occupational health or occupational therapy, rather. It's a very broad field, and it's kind of like it's kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, you dive in and you kind of pursue what you like as the individual. It gives you a lot of flexibility.
I got you. And just for some history wise, so it wasn't, the MOS wasn't always 68 whiskeys.
Right.
You know, it was originated it was 68 91 Charlie, right?
Sounds